Hello and welcome to Bomb Squad, InDreams PlayStation podcast. My name is Andrew Muggleton and I'm joined as always by my wonderful and very beautiful co-host Chris Clone. How are you?
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Really buttering you up for today's episode, you know.
Probably the nicest thing I've heard in a long time.
Oh, you poor boy. Poor boy. Struggling through coronavirus and lockdown with no compliments.
Yeah. Pretty
Excellent.
much.
Good stuff. Back to Bomb Squad, back to the podcast. We'll quickly just run through. I know neither of us have really played anything that much, but we'll quickly run through if we have done anything. I've played a little bit of The Witcher 3, just getting back into that with that 5th year anniversary hype, and just kind of attempting to get the platinum, which is proving quite tricky, but we'll get there. And I also dipped my toe into City Skyline, which was part of PS Plus this month. And if you've ever played SimCity, it's exactly that in quite a nice and clean looking environment, and user interface and stuff. And yeah, it's nice. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be from a kind of city simulator thing.
Cool.
How about yourself?
To be honest, I've been slogging through Final Fantasy V on my Vita. So I think I've played like 23 hours of it at the moment.
Nice.
I'm getting towards the end of it now, but
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get that done in pretty soon.
Excellent.
But yeah,
Excellent.
So not too far off the end of it.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, what we'll do is we'll jump straight into the news then, because there have been a couple of biggish things. The first one I want to mention is linking into our bet from last week. Do we just explain the fact that our bet last week was that, or last episode was that we were going to guess what this surprise game reveal was going to be from the Summer Games Fest, and I think I said it was going to be a new Batman. Did I say?
No, I think you said...
Did you say Rocksteady's game?
You said it was going to be Rocksteady.
Rocksteady's game, sorry. And
so
you said it was
whatever they were going to do. Yeah, and I said it was going to be a Batman from WB.
Predicting it would be Rocksteady's game is a pretty bold decision. But neither of us were right. And it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster, which is still pretty cool. I was pretty excited about the idea of this. I think it's Vicarious Visions, who are the guys who have done the Crash reboot, the kind of remakes, and the Crash Team Racing stuff. So they've got a pretty good track record with doing remasters. And so far the trailer looks great. There's loads of, like, the vast majority of the songs, which is one of the biggest things of those games, are all still there. There's a couple of songs that are missing, but most of them are there. And I think it looks pretty good. It looks really nice. A big dose of nostalgia. Do you have much history with those games?
I definitely have had, like, I think I had like 2. Is 2 the one that was like really big? Was it PS1? Like,
I think they're both PS1. Although Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, that might be PS. Yeah, both PlayStation 1.
PS1.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I had it. I was just never. It was never really like my. I to be honest, I was more into kind of sports games and like wrestling games and stuff back then, and I just didn't really find it that fun.
Yeah.
Like that, but I've never really been someone who's like, oh, I just want to learn all these combos.
Yes,
like that's never been my sort of thing that I want to do in a game. So I would basically just get it and, like skate around and mash, like just go up a ramp and then just mash a load of buttons and hope that I don't fall over and then just get a bit bored after like 20 minutes. But I know people that love these. So
yeah, absolutely. I've spent a lot of time. These are. I was thinking this recently. There's a couple of games where from the PlayStation 1 and 2 era where I wish you had trophies back then, because I feel like for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, I'm pretty sure I've done like everything possible in that game. And I was thinking about it with Final Fantasy X as well. I'm pretty sure I've done everything that is possible to do in that game. And now that I know that both of these are kind of coming back, it's one of those things where you were thinking, I've done everything here. I've done this all. I don't want to have to do it all again just to get some trophies. But That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So yeah, we had that. There was also the announcement of the Mafia trilogy games, 1, 2, and 3. I think are all being remastered. I think Mafia 1 might even be completely being remade, and they look quite nice. But I don't have any history of those games.
Yeah, I don't think I've never even played one, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't even know what they are. Do they play a bit like GTA kind of thing?
Yes, yeah, I believe so. Yeah. We just I think they're a bit more serious. The whole way kind of through. And I suppose the two big things then news-wise that have happened over the last couple of weeks. The first one was Unreal Engine. So Epic Games had a bit of a little showing where they showed off Unreal Engine 5. Now, normally this probably wouldn't be something we'd discuss on this podcast because it's kind of geeky. However, they introduced it as running on the PlayStation 5 natively. So they just plugged an HDMI back into the back of their dev kit and recorded the gameplay. So it's kind of noteworthy in that this is probably the first time we've properly seen a game being like gameplay wise in a PS5 game, even though it is just a demo. But did you manage to check it out? Have you seen bits of it?
Yeah, I saw it. I was a bit late to the to watching it live, and just predictably I missed the good bit and just saw the
guys
4 blokes just sort of geeking out, talking to each other, like talking a load of nerd stuff. But I did manage to go back and watch the demo. It looks really cool. It's just I can't really get that excited about it. It's just like it's not a game. It's not going to be something that we can sit and play. So it looks cool, but everything's going to be super optimized. And I'm not really holding out that games are going to look exactly like that and as good as that on the whole, because I don't think it will. That was purely made to make you go, damn, look at all the detail. Whereas that's not what games are going to be made for specifically. So it looks really cool, enough. But I'm just
Yeah. I think there's a lot of really interesting ideas of what they're doing with, as long as developers start using UE5, which is that I think they said it's only coming out 2021 at the earliest. That games will be starting to use it on the console. But I've seen quite a few like people theorizing, and a couple of kind of geeky guys. Like I even watched a game developer do a reaction to it, and a lot of what they were saying was like, yeah, this looks pretty legit. If this is the engine and this is how it works, then this is a bit of a game changer. But obviously, as always, that all depends on whether developers use it, whether they kind of implement it, and what the scope of their games are going to be. So I think it's very impressive looking. But as you say, it's a demo at this point. There's nothing tangible really to it other than what they showed. So I think hopefully it'll be down the line. We do start seeing something similar to that in a couple of years. But that's a hopeful. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
The other thing then to kind of to discuss, I suppose, is it's a little bit more of a rumor, but I'm hoping we're going to get something very, very shortly on this. In that there's several rumors swirling round about the PlayStation 5 kind of big reveal, as it were. We've had the kind of geeky background details about what actually makes up the console, but this is to show off some proper games running and being developed for it. And initially there were rumors for the June 4th. Now kind of there's strong implications that it's going to be June 3rd. I think Jason Schreier even reported saying that that's the date they've got in place. It's still all up in the air because of coronavirus and things like that, but it's looking more and more likely that very soon, very, very soon, we will start to see some proper games for the PS5. So I think I suppose from that, like, my question for you would be like, who do you think is going to show up if we've got like first party stuff? If we're just talking first party, do you think we could have like a Guerrilla Games with Horizon 2?
Yeah, they're the ones that proper come to mind when I start thinking about it. I'm not sure what else. I'm not really sure what else we can properly expect. I don't know what if. Maybe like Insomniac, is it too soon to see any more? Like maybe a tease on like Spider-Man maybe, or Yeah, or what else? What else is it they're rumored to be working on at the same time?
Insomniac.
Was it like Rat? Yeah,
Oh, I think there is a lot of talk of that. There's a new Ratchet and Clank game.
yeah. That's what
being
I was
worked on.
thought. That would be a really cool. If they
That's a
had been
good
working on
shout.
that as well, that'd be a really cool, like maybe not launch game, but like early game for the PS5.
Yeah.
That'd be a really cool thing to have.
That's a really good shout actually, because I'm sure it won't be that intensive compared to creating like the next Spider-Man game for them. So less resources needed to make that style of game. Hopefully we'll see what Blue Point's doing with, I think the rumor is this like Demon Souls remaster or remake,
Yeah.
like they did with Shadow of the Colossus. So we'll see with that. I also want to see, I want something, because there's been all these rumors and conversations about Konami and Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid and just whatever the hell is happening with Konami. It would be insane to see something of all those rumors come true, even if it is just them making a new Silent Hill game or whatever. I'd love to see something come about from those rumors.
Yeah, I obviously, like, I'm not really into like the horror games and stuff like that. So I would love to have like an MGS collection or like a remastered.
Yeah, remastered
obviously
collection.
I'd love remake, but I'd love like a one remake, but a remaster of
Remaster
one
would
and
be
two maybe
great.
would be sick.
Yeah. A full remake of one is just the complete dream. Who knows? Who knows though? Who knows? This could be the year that you start seeing things like that.
That'd be sweet.
I doubt, but we'll see. The other one, which off the back of that rumor, there was another guy who was kind of tweeting about the similar rumors about the state of this event, and in his tweet he had this bit of ice. Whether that was to do kind of rumoring towards Blue Point, who knows? Because it's this very big blue bit of ice, so maybe. But he also capitalized, be ready, and then ready he capitalized that. And my mind jumped to Ready at Dawn, who are the guys who have made things like The Order 1886, and I think they made a load of Vita games previously, like the God of War games on PSP actually, I think it was. Since then, they made Lone Echo, which is an Oculus Rift game, which apparently is amazing, and they're working on part 2 of that. But since kind of 2015, 2017, they've only made VR games, and it's all in this same kind of world. So I don't know. Maybe they're up to a sequel to Order 1886. Who knows?
I feel like that was always rumored, wasn't it? That they were going to do a sequel to that.
Well, I think the main reason for the rumor was that the game ends on a literal cliffhanger. Like it doesn't resolve at all. There is like I think the main guy, I'm pretty sure he disappears. Galahad, I think, disappears. And then at the very end, there's like a post-credit scene where he's seen on top of a building, I think, looking over, and there's a warning about some of the bad guys or something. But like it's like set up for more of the film to happen, more of the game to happen. So I think that naturally builds into a rumor itself. But we'll see. It'd be nice to have that, because although I thought that, did you play that game, by the way?
No, I never actually played it. I think
yeah.
I own it from like a PS Plus at some point or something, but I've never actually sat down and played that game.
Yeah, like by all means, it's not that great to play at all. However, the design of the game and the world that they created there, I was enamored by. I thought it was so impressive looking, and the idea of having the Knights of the Round Table kind of in Victorian-y kind of steampunky London. It was such a cool idea.
Without doubt. Like the idea behind it and how it looks, like that's what's like drawn me in over the years to make it. I could just play that, and it's quite short as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 hours, I think, maybe even less if you to kind of do it quickly. But yeah, such a cool idea, and that's the kind of thing where I'd love to see that them come back to that and be like, right, no, we realize this vision kind of, and now we're going to expand this into like, in quotes, kind of a proper game. Like, let's really flesh this out, because it's rife for that. But we will see. Hopefully hopefully it's only a week or so from when we're recording for us to discuss more about that. I think just off the back of that, I think Jason Schreier's reporting said that I don't think there's a full expectation of like a full blowout, maybe not of even seeing the console. However, the expectation would be that it was lots of games, all being actual gameplay of games for the PS5.
The impression I got was that it was going to be game focused, not actually like looking at the
console
hardware at all.
Pricing of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's weird. It's getting to a point now where it's like, man, when are they actually gonna?
Yeah,
when are they gonna say this? Like, it's almost June. Like,
yeah. So we're getting close. I can feel it. I can feel it almost there. So yeah, I think those are the main kind of bits of news. I think that Unreal Engine thing was a big PR win for PlayStation, coming off the back of the Xbox kind of next gen reveal, where basically they didn't show any gameplay. For Unreal to show off a game supposedly running and gameplay on a PS5, I think that without Sony basically doing anything, although I'm sure there was a lot of money being exchanged in the background for them to do it, it kind of like offhand was suddenly like, oh, wow, the PS5 looks amazing and stuff. So I think that was a really easy PR win for them in this kind of battle, definitely, as it was. So yeah, I think that's pretty much the news. In terms of Dreams, Chris, talk to me about Dreams.
Yeah, so I've got two things that I want to talk about for Dreams.
Awesome.
One of them one's a serious one, because obviously I'd like to bring a serious one, but also I have to, keep bringing up the weird stuff that I find.
Yeah.
And I found this game that's called Shrek's Swamp. And it's
Swamp.
It's by Zelda on 69.
Yeah.
In Dreams.
I'm just looking it up now.
I mean, I think I was sat and I just booted Dreams up and I went onto it and I clicked on this one called Shrek Swamp and I sat there and I can't remember, I think my wife might have been in the room as well, and I looked at her and I went, I really hope this starts the way that I want it to. And it literally does exactly what you want. It's just got the toilet and Smashmouth starts playing and like you press a button and he kicks the door open and you just run around the like swamp area and collecting onions, I think. And
nice.
You've got button the D-pad all like says different quotes of Shrek throughout while Smashmouth is still playing as you run around. So
I like in the game info thing on the InDreams.me, it says Shrek is finally in Dreams, and in the little green huts, explore Shrek's swamp before the events of the film.
Yeah.
Collect all of the onions. Amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just the fact that it just made me laugh so much. The fact that I was like, oh, I really hope this starts, and it was like somebody once. I was like, yeah. Nice,
amazing.
Nice. It knew what we needed. Yeah. So the real one, the real game that I wanted to highlight is called Ascent. And it's by Payoff Wizard, in Dreams. And this game it actually like blew me away how good this game was while playing. I think the best way for me to explain it is kind of like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Eco.
Wow, I'm just looking at some of the screenshots of this. This looks incredible. Yeah. This looks like genuinely amazing.
Yeah, no, mate, you've got to play it. What was that game that was on like iPhones, and it's like a puzzle one, but you're running around and like your perspective keeps getting flipped.
Monument Valley.
What's that? That's it. Monument Valley. This kind of like gives me Monument Valley vibes in terms of the setting. Yeah. Like this sort of like big sort of long cubes that you're running around the top of.
You're right.
And you have like it starts off and you're just sort of like platforming. Then it gets to a point where there's these like darkness enemies that kind of, there's like big patches of shadow on the ground and they come out of them and attack you. And that reminded me of Eco a lot, especially in how
the main character kind of looks like him as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like kind of inspired by it in a way. But then like there's a boss battle, and then you get to the end of it, and I think it said that he's going to keep update or she actually, I don't know what gender they are. But at the end, there's a part where you move these like orbs into these spaces, and it opens up these portals to different areas. So you've got and so you go to like these 4 or 5 different areas and collect something from that world and bring it back through the portal. And it's kind of like a show of like what the different worlds could look like. There's one that's in a big forest. There's one that's in like a sort of Victorian-looking London like street. Really cool. Really cool. I was so impressed playing it, and it took, I don't know, it was like an hour and a half or something to play like the whole thing. So it's a lot longer than I expected, because I feel like most of the stuff that I play in Dreams that's good is very short.
Yeah,
you're done in probably half an hour or so. But this was really cool. Definitely, if you've got Dreams, like definitely worth playing it.
No, excellent. I think it says on its thing now approximately 50% complete. Updates coming soon. So
yeah,
it
might have been that when I played as well. But yeah,
cool.
Super good.
Excellent. That looks really, really cool. Wow. I'm definitely gonna play this weekend. Good stuff. I like when you go on the InDreams.me thing, you can see how many times it's been played and by how many people.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it shows all of like what assets were used and how and who made them and the full credits for it. And really cool.
Yeah, what a game! What a game! I think it's even on sale currently on the PlayStation Store.
What Dreams is?
Yeah, I think it's at least it's so. That's actually probably something else that I should mention. Is it's Sony's Days of Play is coming up. Well, it's kind of semi-started now. And this is if my internet decides to work, Days of Play 2020. So the idea from this is from the 25th of May, so this week, early this week, you can get discounts on things like PSVR packs at like Amazon Game and people like that. There's also a load of games that drop down in price. And also PS Plus and PS Now have all these discounts on them. But one of them is Dreams, which is down to, because I think it's normally £35 and it's down to 25 currently.
Oh, wow. That is such a bargain. That is such a bargain, that.
Absolutely. And
I've never even started to like create anything in Dreams. I've not even looked into making anything at all, and I 100% feel like it's worth. I paid full price for it, I think, but 100% worth it.
Absolutely. So I think we've got these. You've got these deals, which are kind of more to do with physical copies of games, and then from June 3rd to June 17th is when the PSN Store has a massive sale, and I think they normally do sometimes like 1-day sales during that for various things.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be on discount then as well, and I knew there was something else I wanted to say. PS Plus for June. It's now it's now out. So Call of Duty World War II is part of it, and then also Star Wars Battlefront 2 is the other game that's just been announced. I think it's literally just been announced whilst we're on this call.
Cool.
So yeah, Battlefront 2 and World War 2. So first-person shooters. Here you go. And they will be on the list from, I think, June. So Battlefront's now, Call of Duty's now, and then Battlefront 2 is from June 2nd, I believe. So that is that. I think.
Time for us to play a game?
I reckon so. I reckon we just have a little pause. Let's play a game, because we've got 2 really big, fun topics to talk about after that.
Excellent. Well, I've been thinking about games. I thought I need to bring a new game. I love Review Bomb. I love playing Boss or Dross. We've got Trophy Wife whenever we accidentally see your wife around.
Absolutely.
But I thought we'd play a new game. I've called this game Cocking Your Tail.
Okay, Cocking Your Tail.
For reasons that I hope will become clear. So the way this game works is that in preparation, you will have given me 3 video games that exist that I then need to try and come up with a cocktail. I mix them together like a cocktail.
Very good. I like that. Like the cocking cocktail.
And then and then I explain to you what this game that I've made will be. Okay, so
Okay.
what were the 3 games that you gave me the other day when we were in preparation for this? What did you give me?
Yeah, so I said The Witness, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Overcooked.
So 3 pretty similar games.
Yeah, exactly. 3 really similar games that I think would be a lot of fun to make a cocktail game version of.
Yeah. So what I had to do is I had to have a good think, and it took me a long time. This I had to have a think of how I could make a game that would include, bits and pieces from all 3. All right. So the first thing I did was I was like, well, what's the most important thing when it comes to games? Like, what's the number one thing that's important to get right? What's the answer, Andy? What's the one thing you've got to get right? Graphics. Yeah. So obviously, 2 of those games don't have graphics. Yeah. Overcooked and Witness. They didn't put the graphics in, so I had to go. We're going with realistic. Metal Gear Solid 5. We're going to use the Fox engine. For the graphics.
So efficient, such an efficient engine.
Great engine. Shame is it used anymore?
It's using Pro Evo. It's using Pro Evo.
Oh, of course.
That's why the current Pro Evos, the footballers look incredible in it. Like, they look so good.
Did Metal Gear Solid Survive use it as well, or Metal Gear Survive?
I think it did. I
must have done, surely. Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah.
But then I thought, well, okay, so we've got good graphics, so we're immediately at least like a 7 out of 10 game.
Yeah.
So what I needed to do then was think, well, what kind of game is it going to be? And I thought, well, to be honest, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with a cooking simulator.
Yeah.
Okay. But whereas Overcooked is like a bit sort of like arcadey, a bit silly, a bit fun. This is going to be fairly realistic, fairly gritty and grounded. So the idea is that you are basically Big Boss's personal chef, and so you'll go out with him, and he will sort of gather. You'll give him like a shopping list, and while he's out killing people, he will also gather the ingredients for you that you need to make him really good food.
So, like, you would get those kind of raw minerals and stuff for upgrading your base in MGS5. Instead, he would also pick up ingredients from the bases that he infiltrates.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. Okay.
And while this is happening, you sort of just sit around.
This is giving me like PTSD from like my first job as working in a restaurant. Like, the idea of just sitting around whilst you've got nothing to do.
He's just like cleaning his pan.
Yeah.
Checking
Deep
that
clean.
the gas works. Yeah. And then obviously Snake comes back. Probably does some CQC on you just to keep you on your toes. And then you have to cook him a meal. Now, this is where the real game comes in, because you've got to prepare everything, you've got to cook. And if the problem is, if he brings back really good material, like good ingredients, that means he's probably already in a good mood. So he's more likely to like your food. Yeah. Because the whole game is like you make the food, and then there's sort of like a scene where he eats it, and then he'll look at you, and you'll get your sort of he might give you like a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Or
I can totally see the cut scene where you kind of like the man like you shuffle out, give him his plate, and he kind of looks at you and kind of maybe grunts a little bit, and then he eats, and then he kind of like you kind of get that like the kind of like nodding head thumbs up kind of thing. I can imagine that with a bit of with Snake kind of like looking over, kind of you're not sure which way it's gonna go, and then you get the thumbs up.
So getting the thumbs up, I'd say, is easier if he's done well in his mission.
Yeah.
But it gets harder and harder as the game goes on, because obviously there's less and less stuff. He's got bigger enemies. He's got fights. He's got less time to get you ingredients. Now the problem is, if he doesn't like your meal, then you get Fultoned back to Mother Base.
Wow. Okay.
That's like your punishment. And then when you're at Mother Base, in order to go back to be with Snake, you have to complete a load of obtuse Tetris puzzles. For no reason.
So here's the witness.
Yeah. And then all while watching like sort of like abstract 70s documentaries.
Yeah, like a Tarkovsky film in the background.
Yeah. So And then obviously if you complete them, then you get to go back on a mission with Snake and make him more food.
Okay, and what about the actual cooking mechanic itself? How does that play out?
Do you remember, obviously in like when PS3 came out, the controllers all had like 6-axis, so you could like shake the controller and there's points where you hold the controller by one of its grips and you like a pan and you got to give it a shake, like, and it's all about how well you shake.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
There'll be quick time events.
Yeah.
There'll be parts where you have to it requires a microphone, and you have to sort of like explain what you're doing. You have to sort of verbalize what your character's going to do in order for him to do it. So it's like, oh, you want to dice the little onions that he's picked up, or do you want to cut them into batons? Like, it's quite in depth.
I love it. Yeah. It sounds very in depth. And ultimately, then, is there any consequence to consistently failing Snake, so consistently getting it wrong and being fallen back, or is it just a case of it puts you through the monotony of having to do more Tetris puzzles?
Maybe I think if you keep getting worse and worse, like the graphics get worse, like as a real punishment.
It like de-reses.
Yeah, and it looks more like The Witness. So the worse you get, the more it looks like The Witness.
Okay. And is there any scope for, I know this might be getting too far out of the scope of the game, but is there an idea that you could maybe potentially on purpose sabotage Snake's food to make him ill whilst he goes out for his meals, so that he does something wrong and so you could take over?
Yes, but the twist is that it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And there's that guy who's like, oh, I want you to bring me an everlasting gobstopper or something. You remember that guy? Is that Slugworth? Yeah.
Slugworth,
it's like that, where like, what was the bad guy? Like the skull, was it Skullface?
Yes, yeah.
Was his name
yeah.
Skull? Yeah. Like
Skullface.
he at one point, he will be there and he'll be like, hey, I want you to try and poison.
Slip some of this into his meal.
Yeah. And then if you do it, Big Boss just looks at you really disappointed.
Yeah.
And then he Fultons you back.
He reads out all the things you've done wrong and finished it. And this tasted disgusting, etc., and this blah blah blah, etc., etc.
Yeah. So that's my game.
Okay.
What do you think of it? Do you think it's good?
I think there's potential there. I think the main thing holding it back is the blatant ripping off of 3 other games, but that's understandable given the nature of what you have to do.
We'd have to get the rights for using Big Boss as well. That might be an issue.
Yeah, true. But other than that, I think it's sound. It's solid, you know. Yeah.
So you would drink this cocktail of games that
I would.
made.
I absolutely would. I actually really like the idea of cooking for Big Snake, and the punishment being playing the witness, basically.
That's quite a good game. I actually think we should probably copyright. If you say copyright, that copyrights it, doesn't it? So
yeah. TM copyright.
TM.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Well, thank you for that, Chris. I think I've finished the cocktail now. I'm feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, and I feel like I want to do some cooking. Right, let's move on to our two big elephants in the room. Let's call them.
Yeah.
2 PlayStation 4 exclusive games had their big deep dive videos kind of over the last couple of weeks. So of course we're talking about Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2. Let's go through them in order. I think Ghost happened first, so we can kind of have a little bit of a conversation about that, and then chat about The Last of Us 2 as well. So with Ghost, this is the first time we've really actually seen the game being played, because although we have had a gameplay from, I think it was E3 2018, I think there was some gameplay. We didn't get HUDs. We didn't really get how it was more kind of like one of those almost cinematic gameplay style things. We knew kind of what the game was going to look like, but we didn't really know what you were going to be doing that much. And what's your thoughts just straight off the bat, kind of about that showing?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I was really positive on it. I think every time that I've seen something from this game, like every time they've done a new trailer or a new announcement or this recent gameplay thing, I've just got more and more hyped and more sure that this game's actually going to be really cool. It obviously showed a lot of it showed a fair bit of combat, and that looks so cool. It doesn't obviously show like what button inputs it's going to be, like how hard it's going to be to actually, time something right, because this doesn't look like a game where it's going to be a lot of, hacking and slashing away at one enemy in order to kill them. It looks like a lot of the time it's going to be like you slash this enemy, they're dead.
Yeah.
Which looks super cool.
Yeah, you're totally right. I think they've even said on record that like, you didn't really see him getting hit, but if you do get hit, I think it is like 2 hits and you're dead type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not quite like Dark Soulsy in that way, but more like this is a samurai with big swords and stuff. Like if you get hit, it's going to be hard.
And I love the way they showed the two different ways of like completing a mission or going about the combat, in terms of whether you want to do the sort of like honorable samurai way where you sort of like just stroll up, get people into one-on-one fights and kill them, or like the Ghost, who is basically like Batman.
He's kind of like Batman and Ezio kind of put together.
Yeah.
Kind of like a dark, stealthy assassin kind of thing where you're throwing a lot of like firecrackers to distract people and then jumping off roofs to stab people, and really cool with that, and actually how differently they seem to play out. The Ghost seems a bit more kind of frenetic and a bit more cloak and dagger at the set as well, whereas the samurai kind of way is he literally just walks up to the enemy, and I think there's a button to like say like duel or something like that. And you go, it kind of, I think it's like cinematic camera kind of comes in almost. Very, very cool with that. I
love how it looks like those two different ways of going about will actually affect enemies in terms of how they act as well. Like they said that the more notoriety that the Ghost has, like there's a chance that enemies might just like run away or be like totally scared, caught off guard because of what they've heard about the legend of the Ghost.
I think you see that briefly in that section where he kills someone and then 2 of the guys kind of stumble over and run away instead of trying to fight.
So cool. I wonder if there's going to be a sort of a similar thing with the more samurai way of fighting as well, if that's going to have an effect, or even if it might have an effect in terms of the story. I wonder if you go more one way than the other, if the story will be affected by that.
Yeah, it certainly seems like that's the idea that they're kind of pushing. And I would really like that to be the case where, because they really hyped up the idea of the Ghost being this dishonorable person, and then this kind of other honorable way of doing it. So it would be very cool if the story does kind of dynamically adjust to how you've been playing the game. I'd really like to see that. That'd be great. And we also get the first look at kind of traveling around in this world and the actual world itself. They kind of did at one point, they brought up the map, and I'm pretty sure you're on an island with it, and it looks big but not like outrageous, like stupid, which I think is the right idea. Kind of just focus and make something like a higher quality game in a still big environment. But it looked like it was really distinct, like they did a couple of cuts between different areas and they all looked quite different each time. Which is really
I'd rather it be a reasonable size and everything is there and has purpose, rather than just being like swathes of open nothingness.
Exactly.
For the sake of making it big, like.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of talk about the idea that there's not going to be any waypoints or kind of things popping up in your screen saying go this way, it's in 100 meters. So, and the way they get around that is with this guiding wind, I think is what they call it. So I think you press a button and then this gust of wind will kind of come past you, and it basically is guiding you in that direction to where you want to be going for your chosen objective. And I love that as an idea. It's such a simple thing. Games have done that before, where you press a button and an invisible line, like a colourful line, will come up on the floor. I think Dead Space did that.
Yeah,
And loads of games have done that, where it will guide you to where you want to go. But this seems so natural in the environment that it's not like breaking the wall of oh, you're suddenly playing a video game. It's kind of just being part of the world. And I think they also spoke about that. Certain animals and so I think if you see a fox, you want to follow
there's
a fox because it
yeah.
will take you to a shrine, and you'll see that often pop up in other animals or funny types of trees and stuff. These are all visual marks in the world to explain that there's something of interest over there. If something looks interesting, it's probably something interesting there. And I love that idea of this kind of world exploration, and that's what's dictating where you should go, instead of a big flashing marker on the screen saying go this way, or there's a chest over here, find that. A lot of cool ideas there, and definitely something which would be cool to see more games take advantage of in that way.
I think I'm actually just like really craving that game at the moment, or a game like that. So I'm really looking forward to actually getting right into that when it comes out. Because I think recently I've played so many like JRPGs and sort of more linear based games. So I'm looking forward to just being able to have a bit of freedom and run about and do test stuff out in that game and see how where you can push it.
Absolutely, and it looks like the kind of game where you, in my mind, it looks like the kind of game where you walk around somewhere, and it's okay if you just suddenly lose 20 minutes just walking across a field. Like, it's just nice to be in that world or be in that environment. So yeah, very positive. In my mind, very positive reveal, like proper reveal for it. You do get that. I do get some of those kind of Assassin's Creed-y style vibes, maybe a bit from it. But hopefully they've got a nice spin on that as well, their own spin. Not long to go for that as well, July 17th. So less than 2 months now. So we're nearly there. But yeah, last thoughts on that. Super positive.
Just super positive. Yeah, really, really excited to play it. Really excited to play it.
Excellent. Then the next thing, as we said, Last of Us 2. So this just had another deep dive into it this week. Another video with Neil Druckmann, the creative director, going through it. Wow, this game, we've said it before, and we'll continue to say it until it comes out, and then when it comes out, we'll continue to say it then as well. Visually, this game looks outrageous.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Really, really incredible. I think he even said in the video, this is running on the next version of the Naughty Dog engine, so they're obviously pushing some things there. I can't wait to hear the noise from our PS4s like taking off. But yeah, a deep dive into that, kind of a gameplay segment shown off with a few of Ellie's kind of new moves, a bit of story, kind of not very vague, nothing spoilery kind of mentioned there, and then a few more kind of cutscene-y type of things. What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, really, really positive. Really looking forward to it. I much more enjoyed looking at the gameplay part that was sort of the second half of what was shown. Yeah. They went into quite a lot in terms of like looking at how the weapons work and looking at the crafting and upgrading, and it looks cool. There was for a lot of the section there, they had it seemed like she'd be like made like a silencer for her pistol out of like an old bottle or a can or something. I was like, man, that looks so cool.
Yeah, and you can see. I think even after the first shot, the end of the bottle was started to blacken because of the flame kind of from it almost. Very, very cool looking. The only thing I thought it was a great showing, really, really cool. Cannot wait. Sort of kind of, we're nearly there now. It's June
16th, isn't it? Yeah.
16th, I think. Yeah. And the only thing, 19th, June 19th. Sorry.
Oh.
The only thing I thought with it was like because of what they showed off, I kind of at the same point was like, I could have actually done without this because although we've kind of almost had this same reveal, like a big chunky gameplay segment where showing off various things, the bow and stuff like that, which was from E3 a couple of years ago. And then we just get told about the new environment. So I was kind of like, I kind of almost wouldn't have minded not having this. It was really nice to have it and some really cool things being shown off. But it wasn't the same as with the Ghost thing where we hadn't seen what the game is going to be. We kind of knew what this game is going to be to some degree. But other than that, like it was cool to see some of the new enemy types as well.
Yeah.
One of them being like stealthy, kind of like hiding and waiting for you until it finds
horrible.
its moment.
Were they the stalkers?
I think that was what it was called. Yeah.
So grim. But it was cool to see that whole gameplay section play out and seeing just how grim and how this game. I know obviously the first one was like a super violent game, but this one looks like it's just totally dialed it up in terms of
absolutely
in terms of the violence and I think a lot of it. What clicked with me a lot in the gameplay section was the audio and the actual the voice acting of the people dying, as well as like there's a part where she crafts like a Molotov or something and throws it at a guard walking with a dog.
Yeah,
and the sound of the dog dying was just, oh my gosh, it's horrible.
Yeah. I know, I totally agree. I thought the sound design was amped up so much to.
Yeah,
I think it makes it obviously. Thousands of people die in games and stuff like when you're playing certain games and things, but The Last of Us was always quite grounded in kind of gritty and feeling. This really takes that to the next level of feeling. The violence is very real feeling.
Yeah, and I think the thing that was it's funny that they're both Naughty Dog games, but Last of Us never felt like, and there were times where you're killing a lot of people, but the only time it really felt like you were killing a crazy amount of people for Joel was actually the hospital, I thought, at the end, where it's like you were just mowing through these people, and that kind of helps to actually like give a lot of weight to what he's actually doing in that ending section. Whereas when you look at like Uncharted and you are just like blowing through, compare Joel's kill numbers to Nathan Drake, and it's like Nathan Drake kills minuscule. Hundreds of people every single game, whereas this really looks like Ellie's going to be an
pretty
absolute
savage
monster by the end of this.
And one thing which I did really like to see actually was the idea of pitting people against each other. Because I feel like in The Last of Us 1 you never really see the in quote zombies, the cordyceps fungus guys versus humans, or never really in the same place where they're both the humans and them infected.
I actually think you're right. I can't think of because there's a whole section where you when you go to the university in one where for most of it there's sort of nothing. Then you end up going through a section in the university where there is clickers and stuff, and you have to be really stealthy or kill them, whatever. Then you have a section where you fight humans. And it's like you have these bits one after the other, and it was so cool in that part seeing because I think what she did was she picked up a brick or a bottle, and she went and she threw it right next to where there was a human and caused the clickers all to run towards it to attack the guard or whatever that she was also against. I love that. I love that whole idea of them going in together. And there's other games that have done that as well, though, that way. And I always love that sort of thing where you pit
definitely
other things against each other.
I was just trying to think. I had such a vivid memory of a game doing that.
So like Metro, was it the Metros where you had like the communists and the Nazis? So
that was. I was going to actually say there were two things in this which really made me feel quite Metro-y. One was that. What the hell was the other thing? Because pitting like two factions against each other. Because there's also in this game there's two factions of people that you're going to be coming up against, and I think there'll be moments where you can pit them against each other as well. I think it's the crafting aspect of it with Metro Exodus especially. This it feels really kind of similar, and it's very you have your workbench, and when you craft something, you physically see it pop up onto the weapon. She has a backpack which she throws down and quickly creates stuff, which is very similar to how Exodus did stuff. And it's great. It was one of my favorite things about it. So having this in this game is only a positive in my mind. Actually, just on the topic of Metro again, there was something I wanted to mention about Ghost. In a Metro way, which was, so one of the things, obviously we were talking about the guiding light with Ghost, the guiding guiding wind, yeah. And there was a lot of talk about, this is such an innovative and interesting idea. What I didn't realize was, and I think it is actually said in the game really early, but in Metro, you have your little clipboard which tells you what you're doing, and then you also have a lighter, which you can flick on and off as just a light source. And in Last Light, you can then use it to start burning cobwebs and stuff. The lighter, the flame actually goes in whatever direction you're meant to be going. So it kind of flickers toward that direction. I was like, I forgot that was a case, but it's the same kind of idea in environmental waypoint kind of telling. And I love that. I'd forgotten about it. And it was so cool.
Yeah.
But yes, The Last of Us. The idea of that pitching off bit, that was one of my favorite bits in this trailer or this gameplay section. And I think the idea of, I think one of the things that I was almost a little nervous about, which I think this is kind of pushed down a bit, was the idea of it becoming a much bigger game and the locations becoming much bigger. I was kind of a little nervous about the idea of that. But when they showed her on her horse and stuff, traveling across this kind of city and stuff, naturally it all just looks fantastic and looks great. So I don't think that's going to be a concern. So yeah, it's going to be interesting having that extra dynamic to it, being able to travel on a horse and things like that.
Yeah.
And it not be a scripted section that you have to use a horse, for example. But yeah, very, very excited for that. Not long to go, less than a month now. I think actually all the reviews are out with the reviewers. They're playing through it currently.
Yep.
Have you seen the start screen?
I have seen the start screen, but from the leaks, I'm afraid, is where I've seen.
Fine. Fine.
I saw that a while ago.
I think it's like non-embargoed, that. So they've been people have been putting up pictures of like, I'm just starting, with the kind of lake with the boat in it. Very cool, very, very atmospheric looking. So yeah, as I say, not long to go with that. Cannot wait to play. And I think that's most of the news.
Yeah, lots of big news. So hopefully we might have a bit more like next week when we see that PlayStation event, if that is a real thing. Yeah,
fingers crossed. For sure. So I think that takes us to what we normally do at the end, the bets. So there were no points given out for last episode's bet. Nil point. Now, Chris, I believe you've arranged a new bet, right?
Yeah. So
you haven't told me what this is beforehand, so I feel nervous. I feel unprepared.
Okay. So what are we going to do on InDreams.me, not InDreamsClub.com?
Yeah.
It tells you how many players are online in Dreams.
Okay.
And I've just refreshed, but I think you've just gone onto page. Mine says 1,928. What are you at?
Ooh, hold on. Where does it say?
Like top left, just under the little menu bit.
Oh yeah, 1927.
Okay, cool. So currently 1928. Now we can either do a bet on the actual number, and whoever gets like closest or whatever, or we could just go like higher or lower than currently and like get guess that way. Up to you.
I think we both bet a number and the closest one wins. I love a specific one. Right now in my head I'm thinking, right, this rumored PlayStation event is next Wednesday. So we're gonna if that actually happens and it is a PlayStation 5 lots of games shown off event, we're gonna try and record ASAP after that. So I'm trying to think. Right, it's roughly 6:00 now on a Thursday. There's just under 2,000. Would Wednesday be more? A bit later on, maybe. I'm gonna bet at 2. No, because the event might have just happened. People might be watching that. Okay, I'm going to go 1,812 people.
Okay. I think I'm going to go lower. I think I'm going to say it's a bit lower than that. So I'm actually going to go 1,669.
Nice. Oh, but
Okay,
then that's also the first day of the Days of Sale PSN sale, so maybe loads of people pick it up for the cheap.
It's true. So that's the best.
Cool.
I'm trying. Is it currently 30 all? Are we level?
Yes, we are.
Sure
We are level.
Yeah.
We are level. Yeah.
Excellent.
All to play for.
Were we going to say, was this one going to be worth double? Was this going to be a double trouble? Because there was no points last time, or do we just keep it as the 10?
No. Let's do it.
Double.
I love a bit of drama.
Double points.
Double points on offer. Absolutely.
Chance to really streak ahead for the mighty Hufflepuff.
Because we finish these at the end of the year, don't we?
Yeah, we do it.
So we're about halfway through then. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
60 points. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, fantastic stuff. Well, that pretty much does it for us today. So
perfect.
Chris, where can people find us? We've got the website, InDreamsClub.
InDreamsClub.com is where you can find us for our website. You can find us on Twitter at InDreamsClub. You can find us on YouTube as well, old podcasts, and as well as the new ones are currently sort of going up in dribs and drabs. Hoping to put up another video as well. Something slightly a bit different at some point.
Yeah, a bit of a side project, we're thinking.
Bit of a side project that might be quite fun. Probably linked in a little bit with the Bomb Squad content, but we'll see. We've got our film and TV podcast, which is called Realise, and we've just done a couple actually. We put a couple up recently. We put up Batman Begins. Which went up a couple of weeks ago, and we've also, the most recent one is about Mulholland Drive, David Lynch, masterpiece.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun recording that one.
Yeah,
I really geeked out in that at points.
Yeah, super fun recording that. So we are going to be doing the rest of the Dark Knight trilogy at some point over the next couple of months probably. Listen into that to see what we think of them.
Absolutely. And that about does it. So thank you very much for listening. Chris, thank you for being here with me.
Anytime.
And hope you have a lovely day. Stay safe and see you soon.
Bye.
Black nectar, that's